Hello everyone, I am Dr. Aditya Sharma. Good evening to all of you. Hope everybody will be fine. Today we will discuss about the annual product quality review APQR, which is one of the important topic related to the CGMP. So let's discuss. Good evening everyone. I am Dr. Aditya Sharma. Today we will have a training session on the very important training topic on the annual product quality review APQR. So let's discuss. So in this training session we will discuss about the APQR annual product quality review. What is the annual product quality review APQR, the contents of the APQR, why and when APQR is required to be prepared, and significant procedure for the annual product quality review preparation, and few of the general notices required to be discussed. So first of all, what is the annual product quality review? Annual product quality review is known as the basically APQR, and it is also sometimes termed as APR, annual product review too. So product quality review is a regular, periodic or rolling quality reviews of all the manufactured medicinal products, which are conducted with the objective of: number one, the verifying the consistency of the existing processes, appropriateness of the current specification of both starting materials and the finished product, to highlight and any trends, and to identify products and process improvements. So the product quality review shall typically be carried out for each product irrespective of the number of the batches manufactured in the previous year, and the implementation of the preceding years shall also be reviewed in the current APQR. So APQR or PQR is a GMP requirement used to verify the consistency and the appropriateness of an existing manufacturing process. It plays a very critical role in identifying any trends in the processes further leading to the process or product improvements. So this all about the definition about the annual product quality review APQR and APR. Now we will discuss about the contents of the APQR. The few of the contents required to be accommodate in the APQR. And these are a review of the starting raw materials, packing materials and everything, primary packing material and secondary packing need to be included in the APQR, and a review of all the critical in-process controls on the finished products required to also be reviewed. So the compilations and the review of in-process test results, including critically quality parameters like blister sealing, forming temperature, etc. of the packaging operation obtained from the total number of the batches manufactured in the particular year. So few of the examples are description, loss of drying, assay, pH, viscosity and compression for the description. All these are need to be included in the annual product quality review. So the next one is the compilation and the review of the finished product test results, such as description, appearance, identification, pH, loss of drying, water by Carl-Fisher, viscosity, dissolution test, impurities. These all tests need to be included in the APQR. So review of the specification of in-process and the finished product specification shall be included in the review. Any change in the pharmacopoeial status of the pharmacopoeial monograph need also to be critically reviewed and to be incorporated in the APQR with comparison of the existing or the old method to be followed. So the next one is the validation status. So process validation summary, cleaning validation summary, identical method validation summary. These all also required to be accommodated, and the evaluation need to be accommodated in the APQR. All the any change, any modification in the method or specification or any change in the cleaning procedure also need to be included in the APQR particular for that year. A review of all the batches that failed to meet the established specification like OS and OOT also need to be incorporated in the APQR, and their further investigation reports and root cause analysis also to be incorporated in the APQR. So next one is the review of the batch rework or reprocess. So any rework or recovered or reprocess batches, if they are for specifically for the products manufactured in that year, need to be also to be included in the annual product quality review. So review of the batch reprocessing or the reworking, if done for any of the batch, if any recovered or batch is manufactured, shall also be included in the APQR. A review of all significant deviations or non-conformances, their related investigations and the effectiveness of the resultant corrective and preventive actions taken, all the summaries of all deviations, non-conformances together with causes of the non-conformance sorted based on the data trending needs to be incorporated in the APQR. Compilation of corrective and preventive action kappa taken also to be incorporated. The summary of the changes, all the change control particular to this product that you are going to prepare the APQR need to be accommodated in the APQR. Summary of all the changes made in the analytical method as discussed earlier need to be incorporated. Summary of all the changes equipments need to be incorporated. Summary of all changes made in the facility like change in manufacturing, cubicle, any extension, anything whatever happens in the under the change control management procedure need to be incorporated in the APQR. So review and report of the impact and changes of the quality of the produce. Review it very important for the annual product quality review. Then we come to the review of the batch yield. It is one of the important thing because it gives us the statistical evaluation of all the batches manufactured in particular that year. So batch yield at the end of the critical stages need to be calculated and has to be trending and should be critically evaluated when you are going to the preparing a APQR. So all data must be calculated correctly and then to be incorporated in the APQR. And then review of all the corrective and preventive action either for the low yield or any of the corrective or preventive action. It may be linked with the market complaint, it may be linked with the OS, it may be linked with the deviations taken in the product. So all these need to be summarized and accommodated into the APQR. So review of all the corrective and preventive action in terms of the changes, deviation, complaints, recalls, concerned product quality. Yes, in particular this year shall also be included in the review. So review of the quality risk management is also important. Whatever the risk assessment being performed on the product or the facility or any linked product link activity need to be reviewed. So summary of all the quality risk management has been carried out for the product and the facility system in this year shall also be included in the review of the evaluator implementation status of the recommended corrective and preventive actions. Then we come to the review of the marketing authorization for the particular those plants which are having the marketing authorizations or the EU or other MOH regulatory approved plants. They are required to have a proper review of all the marketing authorization variations submitted, granted or refused, whatever it is the letters or anything being received need to be critically reviewed, particularly in respect of the dossiers. So summary of the number of the products registered with local and the overseas authorities that were covered in the review document if grouping by product type are done. It is also one of the important things. So summary of these changes made by the product specification and their status of approval document, the regulatory decision if is there, so need also to be mentioned in the APQR. Summary of the number of the products submitted but not approved or refused by the any of the overseas authority, MOH or by local too need also to be mentioned over there in APQR. Overall APQR must reflect all the things which are linked with the product and be very positively and negatively whatever the impacts are there need to be incorporated in the APQR. You need not to incorporate only those things in the APQR which are fine with us. Few of the things which are not good for us also need to be accommodated in the APQR so that proper review of all these negative or whatever the dossiers being taken or refused by the MOH or the local authorities or any regulatory agency also need to be accommodated in the APQR so that a concrete decision can be taken by the concerned and the competent authority to proceed for the and take the good decision on the batch for the upcoming production. So then we come to the review of the results of the stability monitoring program and the adverse trends too. Summary of the number of the batches include the stability studies during the review of the period and the reason for their selection, whatever the selection criteria we follow for the stability. These all need to be incorporated in the APQR. Then we come to the stability summary reports with respect to all the batches manufactured, all the batches charged for the stability in that year out of specification, or any for any of the condition, stability condition or product lead or whatever the positive or negative aspects are there, all things needs to be incorporated in the APQR honestly. So summary of the review of the stability monitoring of the products, if any, which has been reworked or reprocessed or recovered in the year, needs to be incorporated in the APQR. And then we come to the review of the control samples starting and the finished product. Raw materials starting means the raw materials and the finished product control samples needs to be reviewed, because we have a periodic visual inspection of all the control samples in respect of the physical parameters. So these all review of the control samples for the particular product manufactured in that year needs to be incorporated in the APQR. So review of the ongoing periodic observation report of the control sample, as I discussed, its physical defect during the annual product review needs to be included in the review. A review of the quality related products returned, complaints and recalls, and the investigation performed at that time needs to be incorporated in the APQR. The summary of the batches returned due to the potential quality defects together with the reasons, or summary of the market complaints received in a year together with the nature of the complaints, or the summary of the market complaints respective adverse reaction, ADR reaction if any, then received in the year. Then the summary of the batches recalled out together with the reasons need to be incorporated in the APQR. Then we come to the review of the marketing authorizations and the variation to the marketing authorizations, a review of the post-marketing commitments. So at the time of the initial launching of the product to the concerned authority or the MOH, few things are being prepared and being delivered as per their expectations. But if there is any variation as per the expectation of the marketing authorization, these post-marketing commitments and gaps needs to be clearly mentioned in the APQR. This is one of the important things. Few of the things which are not being included, which are having some you are having some post marketing commitments, but it was not being fulfilled. Everything must be honestly mentioned in the APQR. Summary of any changes in the terms of the specification registered with the drug regulatory authority, including the overseas drug regulatory authority. Any post marketing commitment have been given, and the review of the status of these commitments, it is very critical to be mentioned into the APQR. So the qualification, requalification status of the relevant critical equipments and the utilities like HVAC, water system, then compressed air or calibration or preventive actions needs to be mentioned in the APQR. So overall, the summary of all the number of the equipments, instruments in production and laboratory department, their preventive maintenance status, everything must be, their qualification status, everything must be included into the APQR. Then we come to the summary of the qualification, as I discussed, requalification status as per the policy and the calibration planner or the validation planner, including the quality control laboratory, needs to be mentioned in the APQR. Then we come to the review of the environmental or the purified water data monitoring, or wherever it is applicable for the WFI2 and the compressed air and nitrogen. All these review needs to be incorporated in the APQR. Summary of the environmental, water monitoring, compressed air, nitrogen system data of the year shall be considered in the review, and summary shall be written in the product quality review. The summary shall not contain data. The references of the respective reports or trends shall be written in the product quality review. So raw data which being reviewed, and that review data being summarized in the form of some specific language needs to be incorporated into the APQR. But be sure this raw data and the information mentioned in the APQR must be matched. There should be no ambiguity in APQR which is having some specific data, depicting some specific data, and the raw data. There should be no mismatch. If anyone comes to you and asks, this is the APQR and you require to just show me all these raw data, the raw data should be available and it should be cross-verified by some other senior competent person, and the information should 100% match. Then we come to the A review of the technical agreement to ensure that they are up to date. All the technical agreements, including the transportation. So transportation quality agreement should be also be in place, and all the technical agreements related to the quality, then the AMC and everything, quality control, then the other few of the critical equipments like online particle counter, offline particle counter. These all technical agreements which are we having with the different outsource agencies should be properly up to date and should be effective. Then we come to the regulatory changes in the Pharmacopoeia Drug Act. If any of the batch is required to is manufactured as per the change of the pharmacopoeia, or any change in the regulatory requirements, MOH requirements, or marketing authorization expectation, then it is to be included into the APQR. Then we come to the, if no batch is manufactured in the year period, then the stability data related change control, product recall, or the complaints or adverse direction, review of the control sample, review of the technical agreement, and closure of the recommendation made, if any, during the previous year period shall also be considered in the review of the concerned product. If the product quality review leads to the revalidation of the product processes, the same shall also be considered for the revalidation with prior approval of the head quality, QA or MH, or the customer if applicable or required. The data or the product data which can be trended of APQR shall be also be evaluated by using the process capability techniques. So process capability technique methodology for the process capability evaluation, there is the formula for the two-sided specification, where we have the lower specification limit and the upper specification limit. Then the process capability CP is calculated as allowable range upon 6 into SD, that is USL minus LSL divided by 6 into SD, standard deviation. Then we come to the one-sided specification. For one-sided specification, there is a CPK value which we come for the minimum and the maximum. So for the minimum, the estimated mean minus lower specification limit divided by 3 into standard deviation, that is the requirement. And for the maximum, there will you put the upper specification limit. So the CP is the evaluate variation of the process, then the evaluating centering of the process, and then the SD is the standard deviation. These are the, then we come to the acceptance criteria for CP and CPK. If the CP by CPK is less than 1, then your process is not capable. So when we are calculating and trending this data, then we ask, then we statistically evaluated the CP upon CPK value. If the value comes below 1, then the process is not capable. And if the CP upon CPK value is equivalent to, then the process is barely capable. And if the CP upon CPK value is equal or more than, we may say 1.33, then the process is capable. In case of CP upon CPK value is less than 1, then check the probability or the investigation, the causative factor basically. Then the parameters that can alter the quality of the product or have the direct impact on the other products. If required, recommend changing in the limit by means of the revalidation of product. Then parameters which are already having the stringent limit or having the two-sided limit, but due to the standard deviation CP comes below 1, it does not reflect that the process is unsatisfactory. So if we are getting the value CP or CPK then less than 1, it's okay, the process is not capable, but we cannot say that the process is unsatisfactory. So graphical representation of the data of the key quality parameters which can be trended shall also be prepared and then closed with the annual product quality review. The evaluation of the OT results and the recommendation shall be appended with the existing product quality review system. So now these all are the contents of the APQR. Around 26-27 contents are there which required to be minimal to be accommodate in the APQR. But now we come to the why and when APQR is required to be prepared. So APQR is basically a drug product required to be prepared for the calendar year. It is, as you know, it's a quality review. It gets an idea about the product, how much is it stable, what are the everything need to be incorporated, or any market related things need to be evaluated with the help of the APQR. By reviewing the APQR and getting through the APQR, you must be knowing all the information related to the product that was happened with the previous year with this product. So APQR required to be prepared in general for the batches which are manufactured for the commercial purpose. In general, few of the things in general, that is for meaning for the commercial purpose. APQ are required to be prepared irrespective of the number of the batches manufactured during the year. Now we comes to the significance of the annual product quality review. It is required to verify the consistency of the existing manufacturing process of the minimize the risk of the pharmaceutical quality product, which will be helpful for the pharmaceutical companies to develop their products consistently of best quality on yearly basis. It determines the quality of the process defects of the products. It also determines the possible improvements of the analytical method and the manufacturing process. Naturally, if you are having some review, you are having some conclusion, you are having some concrete decision on the product, then you will have a scope of the improvement. So these are the main gist of the annual product quality review. So the trend of the yield and the analytical results, manufacturing parameters of the product are also to be highlighted in this way. It is helpful for the identifying the process and the product's defects in which the product generally being marketed. So it reviews the quality of the raw materials and the packaging materials which is used for the product. Mainly it indicates the quality of material. So few of the general notices related to the APQR there should be the separate APQR should be prepared for each dosage from with respect of the strength of that product. So you need not to club all the 2 or 3 products in one APQR, or you cannot also be clubbed. There are different strength of one product in one APQR. So you should prepare a APQR in terms irrespective of the strength. One product, one strength, there should be one APQR. So equipment, process, utilities, qualification, validation status with done date and due date should be mentioned in the APQR. Then APQR shall be prepared even though no batch is manufactured during the period. This is why, because the batch was manufactured I think 2 year back. So your data is going to be generated, stability is in continuous. So you should go for the review of these data. You should not abandon these data. You should continue the review of these data even though there was no batch manufactured in the last year or previous year. So you should go for the continued review of those data which are manufactured in the previous year. So all the OS and everything need to be reviewed. CPK value shall be mentioned of minimum 10 batches because it's a deviation. So it is expected that minimum 10 batches are required to be. You can have the statistical data for the minimum 10 batches. You can have your own SOP for that, how much batches required to be considered for the calculation of the CP or CPK value. Then for any of the correction in the APQR incident or shall be raised for the revision and shall be applicable with the revision history note. So few of the things, when the APQR being prepared, everything is reviewed and found satisfactory and it will be signed off. Then sometimes it is when some complaints comes and anything, it being missed out to incorporate some information into the APQR, then you require to take some revision and put the revision history in the APQR. So you need you cannot have the changes in the original APQR. You should go for the revision history and go for the change control with properly expectation or the what the information you are going to incorporate in the APQR with the revision number. So that the once you have prepared the APQR, it cannot be obsolete as such. So revision 1 and the revision 00 and revision 1 should be in place, so that you should have a clear-cut idea what the revision and what the additional information being incorporated in the revision number 1. So for any of the correction in APQR, as I discussed, information on the submitted approval amendments and the marketing authorization dossiers need to be incorporated in the APQR. APQR should contain the effectiveness check of the CAPA addressed to the major deviation, market complaints, OS and incidences, to use the new requirements of the new APQR if many gaps identified, to evaluate possibility to create addendum for the last APQR. So it is not required to have only the revision in the APQR. You can go for the addendum also. So few additional things need to be also reviewed over the time. You can have addendum to particular that APQR. So addendum to the APQR to be attached with the original one and the previous one. So APQR shall contain the stability data of the previous period, primary, secondary, packaging metal review and the contract services review. Everything should be incorporated in the APQR. To review the recommendation made in the last APQR with the action plan status shall be required to mention in the APQR of the respective year. So what the recommendation after reviewing and concrete decision and the conclusion of the previous product review need to be mentioned in the particular, have a action plan for that, how much the kappa being taken for the all the possible measures, was it effective. So effectiveness of kappa need to be ensure when you are going to be review the recommendation of the last APQR or previous year APQR. Then you can have, for the better controlling, you can have the annual schedule for the APQR, because more than 30-40 products are manufactured on the site, so you cannot prepare all the data at a time. So you can have a annual product schedule for the APQR. You can bifurcate product wise the fast moving products which are required to be reviewed fast. You can have the club in the 1 month, then you can go 2 months and 3 months. So all if assume that if you are having the 50 products, you should plan in such a way, you should have a plan in such a way that initial 3 months, first, second or third month, you can update the you can schedule the preparation of the annual product quality review, and the batches number mentioned in the graphical trend, it is also the general expectation. The APQR references guideline that we be taken for preparation of this APQR training session: Udrelex volume 4, UGMP part 1, 21 CFR, ICH Q7 and the peaks and the schedule M. So these are the basic reference guidelines we have taken just to accommodate on one platform. What are the expectation, why the PPR APQR being prepared. So need to be, thank you all.